Welcome to the Agility in Real Life podcast, Take 5 in Real Life. Now your hosts, Mike Studeman and Jeff Lee.
Welcome back to the take5IRL podcast, Take 5 in Real Life. I'm Jeff Lee, a partner with agilityIRL.
And I'm Mike Studeman. Welcome to this week's podcast.
So today we're going to be talking about the product owner role and specifically how organizations can really set themselves up to make it a complete and utter failure where no product owner, no matter how skilled they are, could possibly succeed. So Mike, as the person making decisions in this organization, what are you going to do to limit the success of your new product owner?
Yeah, well, before I jump in, we should probably acknowledge that this is the Take 5 IRL podcast. This could be 5 sessions minimum of an hour in length on product owner dysfunctions. I think to give a few of my favorite dysfunctions, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but the ones I see most frequently, one that I'd start us with is not giving the product owner the authority to make decisions. The product owner, Jeff, as you well know, is it's an accountability that has to be able to make decisions. Speed of decision making is incredibly important for the product owner, because without it, the developers are left with 2 options: either making an assumption, and because this podcast is rated PG, we won't get into what assumptions mean, but hopefully our listeners understand that. Or 2, the developers have the option of waiting until a decision is made. And for those of you that are listening that are familiar with lean philosophy, know that wait is a form of waste. Yeah, so that's one of my favorites.
I was going to say, anyone who's ever watched Olympic track and field can probably guess the effectiveness of waiting during a sprint.
An excellent example. So Jeff, I gave what's one of your favorite ways to sync the product owner accountability?
Well, it's to make it a hybrid role. Right. And so that could make it mean a couple of things. It could be you are a part-time product owner and part-time whatever your full-time job used to be. Or it could mean you are now a product owner Scrum Master. You're doing all of these things together. So, I guess I'll start with the hybrid role or part-time product owner. It's a full-time job. And anybody who's taken a CSPO or a PSPO or any other kind of product owner training understands the breadth of working with a team, but also with all the stakeholders and also all the management and creating forecasts and plans and revising them and working with the product backlog and so many things, right? So you're really setting them up for failure if you're not making that a full-time job. Mike, what do you see as, I'm going to cue you up for my other thought, but what's the downside of a product owner also being the Scrum Master? Isn't it good to concentrate all the power in one person?
Yeah, I think the issue there is you have conflicting goals. The product owner accountability, their goal is to maximize the value of the product. The goal of the Scrum Master is to maximize the value of the team. And those goals are going to conflict. It's not a conflict to be resolved. It's a conflict to be lived. There's supposed to be a healthy tension there. And we as human beings just can't represent those 2 opposing goals. Even with a little bit of schizophrenia, you eventually violate one or more of those, and the team kind of loses sight of what voice you're speaking with. Yeah. I think just a comment I was going to make, Jeff, since you introduced the track analogy, being from Minnesota, I feel like we have to use a hockey analogy here when it comes to part-time product owners. You can play hockey with a part-time goalie. There's no rule that says that you have to have a full-time goalie. That said, I don't think you're going to win many games having someone be a part-time goalie and a part-time forward, or a part-time goalie and a part-time defenseman, or a part-time goalie on 4 teams. I don't think you're going to win many games.
Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, and I've seen in that hybrid role, I've seen people who are actually, they have all the skills needed to be a good Scrum Master. They are knowledgeable about the business. They have all the skills needed to be a good product owner. And when their mindset is right, as far as wanting to really support and help the team grow, what you see is that what I've noticed more often, I think people lean toward the Scrum Master, facilitator side. And that means in our sprint retrospectives, nobody's representing the product owner, right? They're being a facilitator. They're bringing out as much as they can from the team. But it's really a developer-focused conversation, and you're missing the perspective of the product owner as like a full voice in that conversation.
Well, and they need to be a full voice. They are a full member of the Scrum team, and they are representing the stakeholders in the process, as you know. So it's a very, very valuable perspective that gets missed in kind of this half Scrum Master, half product owner, hybrid accountability, as you call it.
Yeah. So as you mentioned when we kicked off, there are many different ways that organizations can limit the ability of the product owner to succeed. There are a number of behaviors product owners can exhibit that are, dysfunctional, antithetical to what the team is trying to get done as a whole. We're not going to touch on all those. There may be future episodes with that, but to wrap up, our top ideas here for organizations to really limit the effectiveness of product owners is to make that a part-time or hybrid position and don't give them decision-making authority. Mike, any closing thoughts?
No, I think, Jeff, I think you summarized the episode nicely. I would just say we could probably do multiple episodes on this. And so those of you that were wanting us to go a little deeper, we may do so in a future session, because product owner, arguably one of the most difficult accountabilities in all of Scrum.
Absolutely in the top three, but I tend to agree that it's at the top of the list.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks everyone for joining.
The product vision for Take5 in Real Life is to provide members of the Agile community with an idea that they can incorporate into their daily lives to make them more effective. We thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.